Hello. So, good afternoon, my dear students. So, welcome to the online video class session, Political Science. So, in our last class, we have discussed about the concept of liberalism. So, we are discussing about the chapter ideologies. In the part of that, there are the concepts like liberalism, nationalism and multiculturalism. So, in the part of this chapter, we have been discussing about the concept of liberalism. So, in our last class, we have seen about the introductory part of liberalism, that liberalism is a political ideology. So, here the major political tradition of the world, it is one of the main important change in the political scenario. The idea of liberalism is a kind of change in the political arena. So, the concept of liberalism is focused on the importance of equality. Okay, it focused on the importance of equality of an individual. Okay, then the freedom of speech. What is individualism or individual freedom? So, the liberalism is giving priority to the individuals and his freedom. So, so that is why I already stated that the individualism is the first step of the liberalism. So, like the freedom of speech, the freedom of press, the freedom of religion, the free market, the civil rights, so democratic society, like this, the individuals have to enjoy the civil rights. So, that is why this concept is familiarized. So, the liberalism supported to the political and social economical theorists. So, it was very good. So, that is why the economists, sociologists and as well as the political scientists were supported this ideology or this theory. So, irrespective of their branches, the economists also supported, the sociologists also supported, the political philosophers also supported the theory of liberalism. So, these, if we go back to the historical facts about the liberalism, so it was already we discussed that it was emerged in the age of enlightenment period. So, approximately the last quarter of 18th century and the first quarter of 19th century. So, then it was originated. Then the concept of liberalism is rejected and it rejected the state religion or a religious monarchical system. So, and it has also rejected the divine rights of a king. So, here the monarchism and the divine rights of king is against the liberalism. That is why it was strongly rejected. So, this concept is explained by the various political philosophers in the modern era like John Locke, J.S. Mill and Spencer, Adam Smith. We already discussed that the John Locke John Locke is considered as the father of liberalism. Okay. And today let us discuss about the types of liberalism. So, there are different types within the liberalism. For example, the classical liberalism, the modern liberalism, the neo-liberalism. So, that as for the time being, these concepts has been changing place. So, that is why the classical liberalism is what it did, it was minimized the state power and the functions, and it was uh, eliminated the feudalism. Okay. So, the classical liberalism a kind of social change from 16th century onwards. So, then in those days what kind of the traditions were there? From the traditions the change has been taking place by the influence of the liberalism. So, in the late of medieval period the feudalism was dissolved. So, but before that the feudalism was played a predominant role in the societies wherever it may be India or it may be Europe, it may be America, wherever it may be. But that concept is dissolved. The religious reforms were seen in Europe countries. So, various religious reforms were came. The religious restrictions were dissolved. The controversy between the church and state came to the screen. Then the church authoritarianism was slowly came down. So, the 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 war between the Catholics and Protestants were increased and the people were enlightened and they were strongly opposed to the religious activities. So, like this the liberalism is moving step by step forward from the uh, from the modern from the modern period from 16th century onwards. So, that is why the classical liberalism is influenced very much on various wars like 30 years wars in the Europe in from 16th 18 to 1648. So, this 30 years war was taken place in the Europe continent. These 30 years war was brought enormous destruction in the Europe and change. So, like that the England war also influenced by the liberalism, the classical liberalism. It was taken place in 1688 and the American Revolution also takes place with the influence or with the impact of the liberalism on in 1775 to 1783 and the French Revolution which is the most familiar revolution in the entire world. It was led for the cause of liberty, equality and fraternity. So, it was taken place in 1789 in French with the concept of liberty and equality and fraternity. So, these are the main revolutions influenced by the liberalism. So, then the classical liberalism is minimized the state power and functions. So, then the states were formed the governments. So, that is the root of the classical liberalism. Then the modern liberalism. So, modern liberalism is given equal opportunities to the individuals. Okay. The governments were formed. The government's main objective is the welfare of its people. So, then the in the part of welfare of the people, the equal opportunities have to be given to the each and every individual within the state. And it was strongly supported, the modern liberalism is strongly supported to the positive freedom of an individuals. And it was given the developmental individualism. The individuals have to be developed as per their own wish and will, as per their own way. So, like this the modern liberalism is given a kind of it was brought a kind of change in the society. It was given priority to the qualified welfare. So, like the knowledge is not the the knowledge is not the property of someone. It can get, it can be get anybody's. So, like that the modern liberalism is brought a kind of change in the society. Then the neoliberalism. So, here the neoliberalism is started or repossesses of the political economy of individuals. So, here in the neoliberalism each and every individuals of the particular state repossesses the political economy. As per their own wish and will, they moved. As per their own wish and will, they acted. So, so like this, these are the types of liberalism. And if we go to the principles or characteristics of individualism, there are different kinds of characteristics of individualism, or we can say the principles of individualism. So, that individualism is strongly desires the maximum individual freedom. So, it means directly or indirectly it gives the individual freedom, it gives the it desires the maximum individual freedom, as much as the individual have to get as much as freedom. So, then only he can develop. So, it was categorically declared that there should be no any restrictions on individual's freedom. In any type, with the name of rules and regulations, with the name of caste, with the name of color, whatever it may be, there should be no restrictions on individual's freedom. So, then the individuals will able to rise their personalities or their personal development. So, that is why it is the liberalism is giving the maximum individual freedom. So, this is one of the characteristics. And the second characteristics or second principle of the liberalism is the liberalism is stands for the limited interference of the state. The state should not be interfere in the matters of individuals. Okay. Of course, the state should be there. That is why the John Locke stated, sorry, Spencer stated that the state is a necessary evil. The state should be there, but it should be take care of the other activities, other functions like the security functions, the safeguarding functions, but it should not be interfere in the matter of individuals' personality development or whatever it may be. It should not be interfere in the individual's personal matters. Then another feature of the individualism is it was supported, another feature of the liberalism is the maintenance of law and order. So, it was supported a negative functions of the state, means the state should be there, it suggests the limited obligations of the state. So, like the maintenance of law and order, the control of business and trade, the maintaining of maintaining of currency, like printing currency and as well as coining currency. So, like this, these type of activities have to be taken care by the state instead of the interference of individuals. So, these are the characteristics of individualism. Okay, my dear students. So, today we discussed about the characteristics of or principles of liberalism and the types of liberalism. Okay. If possible, in our next class we will see about the nationalism.